All right, man. So, got a picture sent to me. I actually saw the picture a few days ago, man, but somebody sent it to me and they zoomed in on the picture. I really didn't notice it when I first looked at the picture. I came out with a video, what was it, a couple days ago, saying that Daniel Dubois was in Povetkin's camp. And I noticed his face. Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV. I just seen his upload earlier um, about this situation as well, and I've seen people talking about it. Um, But man, looks like Povetkin is getting tested in his camp, man. I know he has Daniel Dubois in his camp. He also has Vlad Sirenko. If you look at that picture of them when they're all standing in that standing in line and they're taking a picture, Sirenko is the prospect standing right next to Daniel Dubois. You know what I mean? But yeah, Povetkin, I believe his left eye kind of busted up. You know what I mean? Look like he got some swelling going on right there. But to me, that it could be two things, man. Either he's getting his ass whooped in camp, or he's just getting some good sparring in. You know what I mean? Good sparring, you get a busted nose sometimes, busted lip. You know what I mean? You get swelling around the eye. You may get a black eye. I've seen some of the greatest fighters, have tough times in sparring. You know what I mean? But that's what you got those guys there for. All those guys aren't coming just to lay down for him or just give him good work. A lot of these dudes got upcoming fights. Like Daniel Dubois got Kevin Johnson coming up. Sorenko just had a fight a few days ago where he beat what was the dude's name, man? Kaling. I forgot the guy's first name, but I just watched that fight earlier. He beat some guy named Kaling. I forgot his first name, but in that fight, Sirenko. Let me talk about Vlad Sirenko. And I know he's getting trained by James Ali Bashir, great trainer, part of the Manuel Stewart camp. And we know Sirenko. Like we know that Bashir has been with Usyk and the Klitschko, so on and so forth. He's up out the crunk gym. You know what I'm saying? So, one thing I seen Sirenko in his last fight against the Kaleen guy, it was a shorter, smaller heavyweight. The guy was about 40 years old. He did land a good left hook in that fight that he hit Sirenko with. And Sirenko, I'm not saying he was dazed or hurt, but it was enough to make him wanna. He accepted the clinch because the guy wanted the clinch afterwards. So he kind of accepted that clinch and went back. He clinched up and went back. Then he got his rhythm back and he kept dominating the fight. He won the fight in the first round. So he's 9-0 with 8 knockouts. The one thing I noticed is his left hook, man. He landed a good left hook upstairs on Kaling and a good left hook to the body. It was the body shot that made the guy not want anymore. The guy went down and he kind of got up. You guys can tell when a guy doesn't want to fight. He may get up, but if they turn their back or they're trying to, the dude didn't want anymore. And I was listening to the announcers, and one thing I do agree with them with is they were talking about when is he going to step up? Not necessarily fight Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua, but step up to where, okay, you beat guys like he's beat Jamal Woods, the actual guy to take him the distance. And you guys always hear me say guys like Jamal Woods, Avery Gibson, John Bold. I always say these guys' names, and these are the guys that take prospects to if it's scheduled for 8 rounds or 6 rounds, they take these guys to the brink. They show them different looks. They're awkward. They know how to survive. They've been in who's of training camps. Some of these guys are really good amateurs. You know what I mean? So it's hard to get some of these guys out. But I think Sirenko has graduated to the point where he can take on a Dave Allen. He can take something like that. That's why I like the Martin Bakole Alunga Michael Hunter fight, because once you get past the stage of we know that you can feast on journeyman, you have to step up, man. And hopefully we get more and more of these type of fights. I know Daniel Dubois has Kevin Johnson coming up, and him and Nathan Gorman have been going back and forth over the last year. So that's another fight I would like to see. You guys can fight each other on the way up. Fans sometimes we tend to believe that guys can only meet when it's a title eliminator or for a championship. Now, sometimes you got to fight on the way up. It's not gonna be the fucking end of your career. It's just one loss. I mean, you got to come back stronger. But I like those type of fights, man. Shit, Dillian White and Anthony Joshua, right? They were looked at as those guys wasn't top five heavyweights at them. I mean, now you could have them ranked wherever you want, but those guys wasn't top five heavyweights when they fought each other. You know what I mean? There was two guys from the UK. Uh, trying to break through, and they went at each other when they're undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Well, there was no, it wasn't a title eliminator or anything like that, as far as for a world title. Um, even here in the States, you know, when we had Trey Lippy Morrison, when he fought Ed Lattimore, was that last year or the year before that? Two undefeated guys fighting on Showbox, uh, double digit as far as wins. I believe Ed Lattimore was 13-0 at the time, and Trey must have been like 13 or 14-0 at the time. I like those type of fights, man, and hopefully we have more of those fights. But I think Sirenko is ready for one of those types of fights, like a Nick Webb, or I know Nick Webb just lost to Dave Allen, but you know those type of scraps, man. And let's get this ball moving. You know what I mean? Let's get this shit moving. Um, but yeah, man, look like Povetkin. And there's a few other gentlemen in that camp with him. It's not just those two, Sirenko and Dubois. There's some other guys in there. I've seen a big, tall guy on the end of that picture. I forget his name, but I've seen him before. So I'm sure they're giving him the work that he needs. Again, it's just one of them situations. Is he going to leave everything in training camp? Or is this a situation where, hey, man, he's getting battle tested? I mean, he's already battle tested as far as the guys he's fought throughout his career, but just as it pertains to this training camp. You know what I mean? So also, I see you guys filing in the building. I appreciate it, man. Let me get to, before I get to you guys' questions, let me get to Helenius versus Erkin Teper. All right. This is going to be for some minor, and I forget which build it's going to be for, man, but it's a minor strap that they're fighting for. You know, this fight would have been great when both guys are undefeated. When both guys, you know, a few years ago, before Helenius lost to Dubois, this fight was supposed to get made. That's how the Dubois fight came about with Helenius. He ended up losing that fight. But this fight was more electrifying. You know what I mean? It had more of a steam behind it a few years ago. All right, but we're here now. We're here now. And I think at this point, man, both guys have slowed down just enough to where it's going to be some sloppiness. It's going to be a lot of hugging and grabbing and clinching and falling on each other and falling into the ropes. But I think it's going to end by stoppage. You know, I just watched Helenius' last fight he had against the Yuri. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's last name, but you guys, if you've seen the fight, you know what I'm talking about. Yuri, whatever his last name is. Journeyman level guy. He had a rematch with him because the fight before that, he won a split decision. So they rematched it. And I was watching the rematch earlier because I finally got a chance to see it. I'm like, this shit was close too. You know what I mean? Like, Helenius is just having a hard time, man, fighting off or keeping guys at bay on the end of his jab and his right hand. I know he's had troubles with his right hand and his right arm and everything, so maybe that's playing a role in it, but it just doesn't seem to have that oomph that it used to have, man. He's having a hard time keeping guys off of him. Teper's a guy that's going to come forward with the high guard. He'll have the high guard up. He'll give you slight movement side to side, but he's not bending at the waist like Pernell Whitaker, you know what I mean? But he'll give you literally slight head movement side to side, pump his jab, want to come forward right hands. He wants to come forward, all right? That's what he's going to do. I think he's going to do a lot of what that Yuri guy did, and even what Dubois did. Put the high guard up. I wouldn't necessarily recommend eating shots, but some guys do that when they put that high guard up. They can brace themselves. I know sometimes you can take a shot better when you see it coming, but to me, as I call it, I don't like I got it from Emmanuel's store, but I don't like to play. I wouldn't like for my guy to play the numbers game, meaning that, all it takes is 1 out of 10 to knock you out. You know what I mean? So why even play the numbers game, man? Just try to move your head a little bit, try to deflect shots with your glove. But some guys put the high guard up, and whatever you bring, they'll take it to land their shots. All right. I think Teper will do some of that. But I do see a stretch in the fight where both of these guys just going to tire out. It's going to be a little bit sloppy, and it's going to come down to the battle of attrition. I really believe that. Teper, in my opinion, man, has not looked the same since he sparked out David Price. I know he had the drug raid on his house, and they allegedly found all types of steroids and performance-enhancing drugs. He had like a damn pharmacy in his house, man. You know what I mean? But he hasn't looked the same. He's never looked like Carlos Takam as far as his physique, right? He's never looked like Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. He's never had that type of physique. But I do see more of a gut on him since those post after that whole drug situation raid. You know what I mean? And he looks a little bit slower, and his punches don't seem to have as much steam on them from just the eye test. You know what I mean? I haven't seen him. I watched the fight earlier. He fought David. What's the guy's last name? Gorladze, I believe. And he did. It was pretty much fighting downhill, doing what he wanted to do, picking the guy apart, even dropping his hands a little bit, just having fun in there with guys like that. But I don't know, man. With Teper coming forward like that, I think this fight may play more into his rhythm, especially if he can get Helenius against the rope. Helenius is already 6'8", so it's hard for him to get out the way. You know what I mean? But him backing up, going backwards, going back in straight lines. If he can't turn Teper, wrap him up immediately on the inside, don't let him get any type of work off. He's going to have to throw that right hand, even if you can't knock him out, but just keep it on him to make him respect you. But if you know, but I think Teper will put the high guard up. It's really a hard fight to pick, man, because both guys have looked way better in previous years, man. I just think right now it's more of they're on the back end of their career. Although Teper doesn't have a lot of fights, but just based on their performance and just aging, I don't see either one of these guys getting better. But I do think they'll go out there and give it all they got. You know what I mean? So that's how I'm looking at that one. 22 people here, 9 thumbs up. Let's hit that like button or the dislike button. See what you guys are talking about, man. Ronald Finkley says, what's goody? What's good, man? I appreciate the super chat. Let's see, my man Corey Lee Boxing, another banger. He's in the house. What's up, Corey Lee? Aaron Stinson says, Povetkin looks beat up. Yeah, man, that left side of that face looked like he was taking some tremendous right hands. We know Dubois likes to throw heavy right hands. And he has some other orthodox guys in there in that camp. It's not just Dubois that's there, man. So I want to give light to all those guys giving him some good work. And I know, I forgot the other guys' names, but I know Vlad Sirenko's in that camp as well. So they're giving him some good work, man. That's what you need, you know. A lot of guys, they like to go off the whole notion of, yeah, I've knocked out all my sparring partners. It's like, well, it could be a good thing and a bad thing. You could just be a hell of a beast that just fucking knocks out everything, or you know, you got to get some guys in there that's not going to fold, man, when you hit them with a good shot. You know what I mean? You can't have chumps in the training camp. Povetkin's always been known to have some goodies as far as his training camps, though. Because I know when he was training for the Stavern fight that never took place, he had I actually did a video on it, and I showed the picture where he had Dominic Gwynn in the camp. Guy that's adorable, but then he also had Chisora and Jennings there as well, and I thought that was a good camp. He had those guys come out to Russia, and they were giving him some good work. You know what I mean? Let me see. Corey Lee Boxing says they said Daniel Dubois got hurt bad by Coley in camp. Yeah, Corey, with all these little training camp stories, man, I've heard so many, bro. I've heard that people say, but you don't have any proof. It's like, well, shit, you don't have any proof. It's not true. You know what I mean? People get so riled up when their favorite fighter is rumored to be getting worked in camp. You know, now there's actual footage of Mike Tyson being knocked down, you know what I mean, in his training camp. Shit happens in camps, man. That's why you bring in tough comp. You don't want to be in there just sparking everybody out. Now, there may be a day you're just whooping ass, you know what I mean? But you're going to have some days where, you know, guys probably getting the best of you a few rounds. Those are real camps, you know what I mean? But yeah, Corey Lee, I've heard some of everything when it comes to Dubois knocking down AJ. I've heard Price knocked him down. Then I heard Fury got knocked down by somebody. I've heard so much, man. Then the rumor with the Vladimir and Wilder rumor in their camp. You know, camps are camps, man. Shit, 2 of my favorites of all time. Larry Holmes was beating the hell out of Ali in camp. You know what I'm saying? After reading his autobiography, I heard Joe Frazier used to give Ken Norton the works in camp. You know what I mean? So camps are camps, yo. Just be ready to go on fight night. All that shit should make you better to be ready on fight night. Let me see here. Ryan Clark says, salute to the super chat. Yes, indeed. Games PP says Okoli is a weight bully, a cruiserweight. Ronald, okay, let me see here. James Coleman, what's up, man? Unbiased Boxing Duck Squad B-side says, and Patir Malas. Oh, he's in that camp as well? Malas, just the guy that beat, what's my man's name? He beat Kevin Johnson. And who else did Malas beat? I know he beat Kevin Johnson, but yeah, Malas is another solid prospect. Young guy, too. Let me see here. Aaron Stinson says Kevin Johnson still fighting. Yep. And I remember Kevin Johnson said he was going to retire if Joshua beat him. You know, if Joshua beats me, I'm retiring. But you know how it is in boxing, man. Only a few can stay retired. You know, this is what they do, man. It's they make a living out of this, so it's kind of hard for some guys to step away, man, for whatever reason. Whether it's just because of the love of the game, or it's because financial reasons, or a mixture of both, or a lot of reasons. Johnny Todd says White versus Miller. Big Baby needs a text. Um, Man, I've been pushing for White versus Miller for a while, man. I mean, I can seriously say I was one of the first guys here, at least on YouTube. I'm not sure about every other social media platform, but here on YouTube, I've been pushing for that fight for a while. You know what I mean? Just because of the build up, the styles. I know they won't have to go looking for each other in the ring. Both guys are highly rated by pretty much all the sanctioning bodies. Um, it just makes so much sense. You know what I mean? It seems as if it's a fight that can be easily made, being that they can deal with Eddie Hearn. But right now, it seems as if they're going their separate ways as of right now. Kind of sad, man, because it's a fight that should be made a while ago, before fucking White fought Helenius and even Lucas Brown, and before Jarrell Miller uh, fought Wack and those type of guys. You know what I mean? I was getting ready to fight Thomas Adamek, who's a former two division weight champion, but D-Style Boxing was good, man. One of the first dudes I watched on YouTube, along with Blood Boxing and all those guys from that 2007, 2008 class of YouTube uploaders. Was good, D-Style. Very entertaining channel, man. You guys go sub to D-Style Boxing. He talks more than boxing, political stuff, boxing. I even see him do some soccer. I thought he had the best series when Mayweather and McGregor were getting ready to fight. I was literally watching that shit like it was a show. Like I was catching all them joints, man. But also go subscribe to my man Corey Lee Boxing as well, y'all. And I like the way D-Style was breaking down the whole Eddie Hearn and Joshua and Wilder situation. A lot of sense, a lot of logic. D-Style's one of the best, man. Let me see. Aaron Stinson says Ron the Wrench Don was good. Unbiased Boxing Duck Squad B-side says Nick Webb is fighting on the Bacoli card. Who is he fighting against? Is it just going to be some type of obscure journeyman? I would think so, because if not, that probably would have came out by now. But I know he really wants that Dave Allen rematch. Champ Ross says Teper and Helenius were big prospects at one time, not a bad fight at this time in their career. And shit, not only was Helenius and Teper good upcoming prospect, they were good, solid contenders. You know what I mean? Helenius had beat Samuel Peter. That was probably his first marquee win. Then he had the Chisora. I know a lot of people thought that Chisora won the fight, but he got the victory. I mean, there was a time he was solid, like a solid, undefeated big guy with a good right hand. You know what I mean? Kind of upright European style, but had a good right hand he could lay on you. Shit, he was more than just an upcoming prospect. He was a solid contender. And Teper was a guy that was gaining steam, and then all the shit came out. When he laid out price, he was gaining steam, getting rated. Even I remember BoxRec had him high as hell. I know BoxRec goes by algorithm, but at one point, they had him like in the top 10. And he was gaining a lot of steam, man. And then when that drug bust shit happened, everything kind of just went to hell. Although he wasn't out the ring for that long, I think he was in the ring like a year later. And that's when he fought, I know he lost to Christian Hammer. And fuck, I can't remember who else he lost to, but I know it's Christian Hammer and somebody else. I can't think right now on top of my head. Haplotype was good. Another guy that I've been knowing on here for about 10, 11 years. Check out Haplotype, boxing historian. Let me see here. McGregor Boxing Star says, first time here, you got a new sub. Appreciate that. Haplotype 0 says, what was the Vladimir Wilder rumor? Oh, just you didn't hear about that, man, when they were saying that Vladimir allegedly, all right, so he allegedly stopped Wilder He knocked him down numerous times, and he stopped him with and he knocked him down with a body shot. Then Wilder came out and he debunked that and said that didn't happen. There's a few guys that I have personal contact with behind the scenes that was in that camp. I think I'm going to ask those guys about. I kind of, ain't really thought about it since the article and shit came out. But I remember Johnny Nelson out there in the UK, former cruiserweight champ. He was the one that was bringing it up. This was like last year, Haplotype. I don't know how you missed that, bro. There's all types of videos up about it. But it's just sparring rumors. So I'm not sure what the fuck happened. But what I do know is Vladimir has went on to say, look, this is what I do know. I've heard now, regardless of what Johnny Nelson has said about what took place, what didn't take place, whatever. I've heard Manuel Stewart, and there's a video on this. It's about 6 years old, 7 years old, where Manuel Stewart, and this was before Tyson Fury was thinking about winning the titles, before Deontay Wilder thinking about winning it. It was before they were even considered to win titles yet. And I remember Manuel Stewart in this interview was saying that, we've had Helenius in camp. Vladimir is good. He has fucking who's who in his camps. Joshua, Malik Scott, fucking some of everybody, man. David Price, Gerald Washington, Jarrell Miller. I actually have that footage up on my page, the Klitschko versus Miller sparring session. Miller was helping him out for the David Haye fight. But just pretty much who's who. The Furies, Joseph Parker, Iju Ogono. I have the clip of Vladimir clipping Iju Ogono with a really good hand that looked like it damn near put him down. I have that clip on my page. He's had damn near everybody you can think of. You know what I mean? But anyways, I heard Emmanuel Stewart say, yeah, not to everybody. He said, but man, it's this the two dudes that seem the most competitive and will be world champions one day is Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That's what Emmanuel Stewart said years ago. Rest in peace to Emmanuel Stewart. So if Vladimir was there beating the shit out of him, knocking him down numerous times, having way, I don't think Emmanuel will go out on a limb and put him up there on that pedestal. You know what I'm saying? Now, did he possibly take some lumps? Of course. It's the fucking heavyweight champion of the world in there with guys that are prospect levels. You know what I mean? Working with contenders. So yeah, guys are probably in there taking their lumps. Dillian White was another guy that's been in this camp. You know what I mean? So as far as what took place, I'm not sure. Now, could Vladimir, allegedly beating him up took place after that Emmanuel Stewart interview? Possibly. Could have been before? Possibly. I don't know. But what I do know is Emmanuel Stewart was the prophet when it came to Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I'm talking like 2011, y'all. This was a long time ago. And he saw this by watching these guys, what they got inside, not just their skill level. And, he fights like a windmill and all, or Tyson Fury don't have no power. Well, Emmanuel Stewart knew what the fuck he saw. You know what I'm saying? Emmanuel Stewart, and you guys just been following me for the last 10 years or just start following this page right here. You guys know, man, Emmanuel Stewart word is damn near gold to me. But besides my father breaking down boxing to me, when it comes to like somebody in the mainstream, Emmanuel Stewart, man. I'm a Emmanuel Stewart guy to the heart. I'm a Crunk Jim type of guy. You know what I mean? When it comes to just his philosophies, the way he used to run his gym, the competition. I'm talking fucking Gerald McClellan and James Toney sparring sessions. You know what I mean? Tommy Hearns and just legendary guys in his gym. You know what I'm saying? So, that dude was just one of the best boxing minds, man, period. He's not the only trainer, but I'm a Emmanuel Stewart guy. But let me see what y'all talking about, man. I can go off talking about this shit forever. Prince Vito says, what's up, Mr. Boxing Too Late? Okay, just kidding, supporting. It's all good. Greg Boxing Star says Pianata. Oh, is that who? Yeah, that's who Patar Malas. He beat Johnson and Pianata as well, right? Cali Meehan, what's up, man? He says, good tough camp. We'll have fighter ready. Love the chats, Mr. Boxing today too. What's good, Cali? I still think they robbed you against. Give me a second here. Still think they robbed you against Layman Brewster, though, man. Nike Jake says, Mr. Box today, big up. Quick question. Do you think Dillian White has any chance of beating Wilder? I think let me say what's up to Lawrence Williams. What's good? Michael Johnson says Dane Dubois versus Kevin Johnson. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a quick one, man. But you know, if Johnson, I'm gonna get to your question real quick, Nike Jake. But to answer Michael Johnson, though, he'll try to go in there and show him some different looks. He'll give him the left shoulder. He'll drop his hands. He may put his guard up. He may stick his tongue out and try to get in his head a little bit. He's going to try to circle, use the jab, come with the right hand, get close. I mean, he's going to try to do all these little tricks to try to survive, get close. You know, when guys are in the clinch, guy has his right hand free. He's coming over the top with little shots, you know, clipping the side of your head. He's going to do all that little type of shit. You know what I mean? But I think Dubois will keep him off of him. I think he's strong. He seems as if he's strong enough to keep him off of him, or when they do clinch him, walk him back, let the ref break, and then keep that jab right hand on him. All right. But I don't know, man. Johnson we'll see, but I'm definitely picking Dubois to stop him, though. But I just know Johnson gonna come in there and try to do little tricks, little veteran type tactics to try to survive. Try to land little, you know, as he's working his left jab, he's bending down to his right, and he's gonna try to wing over a right hand, as we call it, the okie doke. You know, where you're focusing on the body, but then you wing over a overhand shot. I think he's gonna try to land those type of shots and frustrate him. But I think Dubois will have the nice tight high guard. He's another guy that doesn't bend at the waist a lot. He's not gonna give you the Vitaly Klitschko look, or the, you know, he's not going to drop level like Wilder with his hands down, or even when Lennox used to kind of drop his left hand and keep his right hand like right under his chin, but he'll drop, which actually you're not supposed to do, but he'll drop his chin over his lead foot to try to, you know, bait you in, but he's going to stop you with that jab and land that right hand. He doesn't give you that type of look. You know, Dubois, tight high guard, trying to catch shots off the guard. So I think he'll be ready for those overhands with his guard, but we will see. Definitely picking him to get a knockout. Okay, now let me get to that question. Nike Jake, he says, damn, it's already 9:30. Fuck. All right, he says, quick question. Do you think Dillian White has a chance of beating Wilder? Look, Dillian White has a chance, just like Jarrell Miller. He's in that boat where he has a chance. Saying that Dillian White doesn't have a chance to beat any heavyweight, I can't agree with that. He has a chance. He's physical. He comes to fight. He comes to throw in combination if it's there. A lot of these dudes, I know because they're tall and big, and people make the excuse of, well, they're bigger. I don't like that excuse, because you're bigger, you can't throw in combinations. People say, well, the guys in the 80s will be like cruiserweights today. That's not necessarily true, man. There were guys in the fucking 80s that were 6'4", 240 pounds. That's not a cruiserweight. You know, we're not talking about the 1920s, man. You know, guys in the 80s and 90s threw in combination more because trainers were teaching that, like Emmanuel Stewart, throw in fucking combination. Now, you're a big guy. I know sometimes you can control the fight by using the jab, pecking away with the right hand, circling, using, yeah, I understand, but every fight doesn't have to be like that. You know what I mean? You can throw the jab, throw the right hand, wipe his nose with the left hook, come back with a right uppercut, and then reset. You can at least throw some fours. Some 4s and 5s. But guys like Michael Dokes, Greg Page, Ali, Holmes, these motherfuckers was throwing in combinations. Even when Frazier got close, that motherfucker throwing 8, 9 punch combinations, man. Even John Tate would throw in combinations. You know, guys would throw in combinations back then. Now you got guys that just jab, jab, 1, 2, jab, jab, 1, 2, 3, jab, jab, jab. It's like, where are the combinations at? So White does like throwing combinations. He goes to the body. He's relentless, but his defense isn't all that great to the point where he's making guys miss 3, 4 shots in a row. He will take a lick to land a lick, and against big one-punch knockout artists, sniper type guys like Wilder that wants to sit on the outside and snipe away with right hands, that could be a problem. But him coming forward, being aggressive, either Wilder's going to knock him out while he's coming forward, or Dillian White is going to get close and try to rough him up on the inside. You know what I mean? So it'd be a competitive fight. But in a fight like that, I would favor Wilder 70-30. You know what I mean? Somewhere around there, 70-30. But I think Dillian White definitely does have a damn chance, man. He threw a nice, was that a left hook he landed against Lucas Brown and put him to sleep. You could say Lucas Brown wasn't in shape, but that left hand was a damn hard left hand. You know what I mean? He will come to bang and he will come to go to war. And he's another guy that can fight when he's tired. Some guys just completely fall apart. Now, I understand in the Parker fight, he was holding clean. He did some veteran tactics. He did what he had to do to the end of that damn bell ring. Because had he went out there and just say, fuck it, I'm not gonna do the smart thing, I'm gonna just keep swinging away, he could have possibly got knocked out. So he did what he had to do. And look, man, for a guy to hold on the last 8 seconds after the way he fought that whole fight, I can't get mad at that, man. You know what I mean? 10 seconds of holding at the end versus him going fucking 11 rounds, you know, 2 minutes and 50 seconds of giving you a war. I can't get mad at the guy, man. But I see Wilder catching him clean with clean right hands, man. And it's one thing that Wilder doesn't even have to land clean. I mean, he's like hitting dudes off the side of the head, hitting them with the cuff of the glove. But I think he can catch White clean because he doesn't move his head enough. And he puts up the high guard, but he leaves room between the guard. You know what I mean? Damn, that's a good, exciting fight, man. But I'll definitely favor Wilder in that fight. I know that was a long explanation of what I think, but let me see here. All right, y'all. I'm gonna read a few more, man. And this time I really have to get off, but let me see if I can go without. Prince Vito says, "Sup, man? You actually analyze when you want to. Appreciate that." October 4th was good. He says, "Hey, man, just popping in. Can't watch long tonight, but always glad to see you online live, brother. Appreciate that." Lowlands Profits was good. The Boxing Creed 215, what's up? Capadonna 24 says, "What it do? What's up?" Haplotype 0 says, "Emmanuel Stewart was really good with big heavyweights later in his career." Yes, he was. You also going to say Crunk was I'm assuming you would say the shit when they came on the scene. Sad is closed down now. Yeah, they've had different renditions of the Crunk. I know they moved it to the other side of Detroit. Then I believe it got burned down. Cause I seen when they moved it to a, now you guys may have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was on the east side. It could be vice versa, but I think it was on the east side of Detroit. And then the new Crunk got moved to the west side, or maybe it was flip-flop. But I know this new one, something happened to where it got burned down and they were trying to get money together to keep it up. It's like, how can you not have, that's like not having Gleason's around, you know what I mean? Or not having the Fifth Street Gym or, you know, the heavyweight, I mean, it's just a pillar, it's a cornerstone, you know what I mean? Like, how can that building not be up anymore? You know what I mean? In Detroit too, not just make another one and put it just anywhere. Even the gyms out in Philly and, you know, October 4th says, at Cali Meehan, "I think it's so badass that you join us on these chats here, brother. It makes me a much bigger fan of yours, man. I have so many questions for you." I'm gonna try to get me and Cali gonna work. Got some upcoming stuff for y'all, man. We're gonna keep it under the wraps right now, but we're chopping it up behind the scenes though. And it should be this month. Well, it's September. So y'all stay tuned for that. Gaines PP says, okay, let me see what y'all talking about here. Michael says, who should, yep, give me a second, I'm about to get off. All right, y'all, I got to run, man. One last question. All right, first of all, let me see. Michael says, who should Ajagba fight next? Rematch, perhaps. You know what? My next video is going to be about what I think Ajagba should do next, especially coming off this controversial ending to his fight. It's shit made him more popular. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely talking about that the next time. Ivan Lewis says, Mr. Boxing, your opinion is Povetkin now better than he was when he fought Vlad in 2012? Nah, I don't see Povetkin being a better fighter. I think he's been able to maintain what made him a threat back then, but I don't see how he's gotten better. I think he's been able to maintain, and it will be put to a test against this young, hungry guy named Anthony Joshua, and we will see what's what. But, you know, fights with like Radinko and Christian Hammer, those are fringe level, solid guys, fringe level. He did what he had to do, took care of business. Rudenko isn't a guy that you can just knock out like that. He's never been stopped. I don't think I know he lost to Huey Fury and Lucas Brown. He caused a lot of damn head clashes too. Rudenko, I could have swore that him and Povetkin was going to be a bloodbath based on his style and him leaning in with that head like that. But we will see what happens, man. September, we will see. A few weeks away here, you know what I mean? Johnny Payne says, Pacheco, yep, I know Pacheco is 13-0, 13 KOs. Fast, strong, upright type of fighter. Believe he's Russian. He has a good right hand. Pretty fast hands. But I haven't done a video on him in a while, though. Good left hook as well. Gaines PP says, no prime Tony Tucker. What about Tony Tucker? Tony Tucker was a good outboxer too, man. And that's another one of those guys where people say that guys were just small back then, and that's why he threw in combination. But no, Tony Tucker was about 6'5", like a solid 35, 40-pound guy, man. Good boxing skills. All right, y'all. I got to run, man. So this one's going to be short. Just wanted to give my opinion about Povetkin, the picture that I've seen, and some of the guys he has in his camp. Also want to talk about the Helenius versus Teper fight. So I'll be back on tomorrow. Until then, you guys be good. I'm gone.